Did we learn anything new about how Lip Bhutan is thinking about this external money coming in?
Yeah, I mean, it was really what they were doing was giving us a nice sort of update and a running total. The money from Nvidia hasn't actually come through the door yet. The check is still in the mail. But what they were doing was like, hey, look what we've got. This really helps us solve our number one problem, which was the balance sheet and the financial foundation of this company and its ability to continue to spend, which you have to do in the chip industry. That was really what they were focusing attention on. And they were probably right to do that. And that worked certainly yesterday during the call. And, for some of today, people were like, yeah, we like this. This is good.
Is there? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No.
Well, you said for some of today, it was really good. And then we saw this slide later in the session.
I kept printing out stories because I felt like the headline kept changing. Like,
you can refresh it on the terminal. You don't have to print it.
No, but it's like, well, I know. I'm like a little old fashioned, but it was like comeback underway. And then we're seeing more evidence of a comeback. I mean, Ian, were your editors like making you change this stuff or?
Well, I mean, welcome to life at Bloomberg News, right? I mean, it's you have to stay on top of what's going on and the reaction to it. And I think the reaction to it tells its own tale, which is, the fundamentals of the business. Intel said, hey, the PC business is kind of better than we thought, and we think it's going to continue to be better. That's good. Guess what? The server business was a bit better than we expected, and we think that's going to continue. That's good. So then investors being who they are, they're like, okay, that's good, but hold on a minute. Is Intel winning or losing market share? Probably still losing. So maybe this is better for AMD. And if you look, AMD finished up 7.6% up today. So that's what's going on here, right? People are parsing the news, judging the thing and then looking at the derivative. And that was the conclusion they came to.
See, this is where I needed to pick up the phone and call you because I was, we have to do these gainers and decliners when we do it like the market close. And I'm like, AMD, like I was looking at it, I'm like, what's going on? But it was because of Intel's loss is AMD's gain, basically, or that's the perception.
Particularly in servers, I mean, to Intel's management's credit, they're very honest. They say, look, we are not there in terms of having a competitive product in servers yet. A lot of margin dollars in that business, and we're not there yet. And so then the natural conclusion is, well, who is? And that's AMD.
Hey, having said that, I mean, this could have been much worse for Intel, couldn't it have? Like, there's little signs of things getting better.
Absolutely. I mean, and again, initial reaction from everybody was like, oh, good. Okay, this is a positive. We're back on a more positive trajectory in terms of growth. Profitability is coming back. The operations are actually starting to sort of do what they should. But then the derivative and then the sort of, conclusions that people came to was like, this is a nice forward step, but we're going to need an awful lot of these to get Intel back to the level that it previously has been at. And guess what? What's the stock done this year? It's already up 80%, right? So to justify that and that valuation, we're going to need a lot more of these steps.
Well, speaking of justifying a valuation, I'm still just obsessed with the U.S. government being this largest single shareholder in Intel. Certainly, BlackRock and Vanguard Group are, but they're because of mutual funds or index funds or funds,
right?
But a lot of individual investors.
Every time we look at the HDS function on the Bloomberg, we're like, oh yeah, that's right. They're the United States government. It's just kind of bizarre to see.
Is it a communication challenge for Lip Bhutan? Does it change the way that this company and perhaps even other companies that now or will get investment from the U.S. government have to communicate to shareholders because now shareholders are taxpayers?
I mean, it's 100% the case. And, you got to remember, and as we tried to, one of the things you do when you do one of these stories is you go, well, what's happened in the last 3 months? What's happened that's added up to where we are in this quarter? And these guys have been through the ringer, good and bad, right? I mean, he was going to be fired by Donald Trump, right?
The tweet back over the summer.
Right, then he was invited to the White House and given a giant check, right? So his communication, there was a lot of that was like, was definitely, tipping his cap to what's going on in Washington and thanking everybody and being polite about that. And that's definitely something I think we've spoken about this before, that if you're a tech, CEO, you seem to feel the need to do that right now.
Hey, listen, I'm assuming, or maybe my assumption is wrong, that Lip Bhutan will be in Washington, D.C., big Nvidia event next week. I'm not sure if that's the case, but we do know that we have
I know
Nvidia.
Ian King will be there.
I know Ian King will be there.
That's the most important person who's going to be there.
But Nvidia made a $5 billion investment in Intel. I mean, things are getting very interesting when it comes to the chip space. So tell us about the event next week and kind of what you're going to be watching out for. And I don't know if Lipton will be there.
I don't either. So, I mean, it's an Nvidia GTC, which means it's a global technology conference, which means they're going to talk about their partnerships. They're going to talk about, maybe new products, and they're going to talk about this push, right? Because they've got a lot of, they've sold a lot of chips into a lot of data centers. Somebody has to find a use for them. Somebody has to get paid for that with services. So what Nvidia will be doing will definitely be, hey, look at this in biotech. Hey, look at this in transport. We have a lot of that going on. But why is this conference in Washington?
Yes, that's exactly what I was going to say, Ian. You don't have to be. Go ahead.
Much as I love, DC, it is not the tech capital of the world, but it is, the working home of a lot of people who have a.
Wait, who lives there, Ian? Who lives there?
Yeah, well, just blocks from where the conference is going to happen. There are people who determine where. Nvidia can do business and where it can't, and that is very important for its future.
Especially when you've got U.S.-China trade negotiations going on and the president meeting with President Xi.